Just quieten down, baby.
Per capita export value.
Library!
Minister, are you embarrassed by your behavior today?
There's a lot of bleeding hearts around.
Do you have the fortitude or the gonads to stand up and come across here and say that to me, you son of a bitch?
Just watch me.
He certainly went too far, Mr. Speaker, when I saw him stick his tongue out.
Contemptuous disregard.
More than a slab of bacon talking here.
The disappointment you also feel is my responsibility.
I lost my temper.
What is the nature of your thoughts?
The word was FART.
What's going on?
It's an emergency broadcast. There you go, and again.
The way you said it made it sound like it was an emergency. It was in the tone of your voice. I could
it's
hear
an emergency broadcast.
Again,
Panic, everyone.
That just makes it sound like you're excited for the emergency.
I am.
Oh. Okay.
911, what's your emergency?
Oh, God.
I'll tell you. So, welcome to Canadian Politics is Boring. My name is Reese, and with me is the... well, I can't think of a way to describe you.
It often happens. Don't worry.
The unadulterated Jesse Harley.
Unadulterated. All right.
Yeah.
I'll take that. That's good.
You can try and adulterate him, but he won't let you.
It's not going to happen.
No.
I'll stop it every time.
So I say this is an emergency broadcast. This is about a break-in conspiracy. This is a bonus show about a break-in conspiracy that happened a couple of months ago. That isn't quite it.
So we're a bit late to the party, is what you're saying.
I mean, we're not a 24-hour news station. We're literally
thank fuck, Jesus.
Two idiots who sometimes meet up, talk about politics. So
can you imagine a 24-hour news station run solely by you and I, and the title of it is Two Idiots Who Sometimes Meet Up and Talk About Things. Talk about news or whatever.
Imagine though if they both dressed us in suits and they locked us in a studio, and the only way that we could get food or access to the toilet is by presenting news as it came in. And then people just watch it as we slowly deteriorate over 2 years and eventually die on the desk in front of the green screen.
Fucking horrible. Jesus Christ.
That'd be a good Black Mirror episode.
Like, we won't even get to escape if we do the news. We just get to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, you're still wearing the same suit and like growing a beard and like.
And that's the news with Detroit on the hour. Oh, thank God, I have to go. And then I just get up and run, and you hear like clinking and clanging, and then a flush and a sigh of relief. Yeah. And then like
exactly
a cry for 5 minutes as I slowly walk back to the desk and realize that the loop is going to continue.
Groups of stoned students sat around at 3 a.m. watching us crying because we can't get to sleep from the bright studio lights. It's a great concept.
The shit that goes on in your brain, man. I don't know. You spent like 3 a.m. Your wife's like, Reese, come to bed. You're like, no, I can't. I have to get this out of my head. And you're like furiously scribbling this idea out onto the kitchen table on a loose leaf with a pen.
I don't write though. I'm terrible at writing. So I just stays up there, and then I talk to people, and it comes out when I talk. So I don't know what's worse.
Thank God you've got into podcasting. Otherwise, you'd just be like,
my head would burst.
Crazy person. Crazy homeless
before
man.
we do get into the emergency,
911, what's your emergency?
Before we
Can
get
you at
into
least,
that,
like scream with terror when you say that? Can you do that?
I was screaming with terror because there was a bear at my house last night.
Oh, are we doing STD Zone?
Yeah, STD Zone. Before we get into the emergency,
911, what's your emergency?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are
I've only
new
got two sound effects loaded up.
Yeah. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jesse. This is Reese.
I introduced this already.
Did you?
I did that.
It's true you did. No, I was just going to... You didn't say what the show is about.
Canadian politics. I did, and it said this is an emergency broadcast.
I mean, it's not really about...
Fuck it. Read the description. Anyway.
I was going to say the STD Zone is the
STD Zone probably needs a bit more explanation. I'll admit that.
The small talk dimension zone. We usually start off with just talking about what's happening in each other's lives, and then somehow that turned into the STD zone.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a thing now. So,
well, my STD zone is currently filled with beers. Nothing happened. I heard the bin get knocked over, the food waste thing, and then on the cameras, it was the driveway activated at like 10 to midnight, and it was just a black bear just doing it, just walking up the driveway as if it was coming home from work.
Was it wearing a tie?
No, but it would have been good if it did. So anyway, yeah,
That's it. That's the STD zone.
That was my story. Yeah,
it's not even. It's just.
How often do you see a bear in your daily life?
I mean, okay, that's fair, I guess, but I just was
it
kind of
literally is something to write home about.
I was kind of hoping you'd like the story would end with you like running out in your boxer shorts with like a broom, screaming in Welsh obscenities.
I'm not going to take a bear on with a broom.
You could try, and that's the point. Is it would
I don't want to be one of
more interesting.
I don't want to be one of those statistics that people laugh at.
Well, we do have a comedy show.
Over 3,000 Welsh people die every year in Canada by trying to take bears on with broom handles.
Specifically Welsh people. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, have you heard? Let's get into the emergency broadcast.
I knew you were going to play it again.
911, what's your emergency?
I'm going to delete it. I'm not going to do it anymore. It's getting annoying now, I'll admit it. So, have you heard of the Klondike Papers?
Are those the wrappers that are left after you unwrap a Klondike bar?
No, but they should sponsor us because you said that.
Right. There you go. Okay. There's another $500 million coming our way. Excellent.
Amazing. You don't watch the news, but you do seem to know what the latest dance is on TikTok. And the Klondike Papers is a Canadian conspiracy.
I don't go on TikTok. Very
you
rarely.
Knew about when we did the conservative rap one, you knew the dance and everything.
Oh, yeah. All right. That's fine.
You do go on TikTok.
It's Instagram, but still, same fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to, honestly. I'm trying to get off of all social media because it's just it's gross. But that's a different story altogether. Different Jesse rant. Let's not go there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tell me the Klondike Papers. Go.
So the Klondike Papers refers to a supposed collection of emails, text, and documents that were supposed to be hidden from the public, and they were released by a whistleblower called David Wallace, and they were released to a select group of journalists, and there's 6,500 pages of documents, and they were kind of released, and the Klondike Papers kind of went viral on TikTok and YouTube and all these Twitter threads. And
so what was on these papers, though?
Well, this is one TikTok user. This TikTok user, Sheep King JB, posted about it, and he did backtrack about it afterwards. But I'll play you the audio now. Hang on.
Okay, so if you're a Canadian and you care a little bit about Canadian politics, you should probably start paying attention to this story. The story being the Klondike Papers. The Klondike Papers is a complicated group of documents, 6,400 documents in total, that exposes some crazy allegations among the Conservative Party and conservative individuals in Canada. Some of those allegations include the organization and facilitation of the trucking convoy in an attempt to have a coup and insurrection, the murder-for-hire plot against prominent conservative individuals, and our own prime minister of our country, and also millions and millions of dollars of PPE fraud from conservative governments that already has started to be.
So it was the kind of TikTok person talks about, hey guys, you need to check this out. And that video had 50,000 likes and nearly just over 1,600 comments, kind of went viral. And he backtracked on it later because he said he didn't know the full story, but that was the kind of thing that people were talking about. And
wow.
So
I'm gonna take a wild stab in the dark here and say that it had zero repercussions for anybody.
Yeah, nobody got in trouble for this.
Yeah, of course. That's just not how it works.
But it's interesting because all people knew was
the one thing you can count on is if you become a politician, you can get away with fucking anything except, having an affair. Apparently, that's the one thing the public will not tolerate.
But at this stage, all these people on TikTok and social media, most of them, all that they knew was that there was this thing called the Klondike Papers that had been leaked by this David Wallace, and that they contain some conspiracy theories, but no one at this stage actually presented the specific documents that said those things. It was like, hey, this dump has just come, and apparently it says this. But at this stage, none of these people talking about this had read it, which is why a lot of them backtracked afterwards, to be fair, when somebody did read them.
So all these people posted, but they didn't. Oh, that's funny. That's typical, though. That sounds
like,
about right.
We just heard about this new conspiracy. And,
to be fair, are we not doing the exact same thing right now?
No, because I've
Did
written
you read
this
the
in a way-
papers, Reese?
No, but I'm going to get to an article by someone who read every single one of them.
So
drew some conclusions.
Okay, so we're gonna be talking about someone who did read them. Okay, that's fine.
a reputable source that I would trust read them.
Thank God for not a.
I did look for them. But I couldn't find them.
Oh, they've been redacted.
And, I got my own shit to deal with. There's a bear around my house. Can't expect me to read 6,500 emails. Anyway,
is he still there, just hanging out, like on the porch, having an iced tea? Like, what the fuck?
I want to be a good host. So apparently it claims that there was this shady activity between the Conservative Party and had been infiltrated by a kind of Christian sect called the Plymouth Brethren, and that they planned the Plymouth Brethren.
The Plymouth Brethren.
Yeah, it's kind of
fucking mouthful.
It's a few hundred years old. It's like it's kind of just like a branch of Christianity with about
the Plymouth Brethren. It sounds like something fucking Daffy Duck would say. The Plymouth Brethren. That's a horrible Daffy Duck.
I'm sure the members of the church really love your Daffy Duck impression. But
I'm quite sure a lot of them listen to our show. Yeah, that's...
yeah, exactly. Massive in the Plymouth Brethren. Anyway. They claimed that they'd kind of organized they organized the Freedom Convoy, and it was actually a cover to assassinate or have a coup against Trudeau.
The Plymouth organized the fucking the convoy.
That's what they claimed this document said. Also that they were.
The name is going to degrade to the point where we just go.
Yeah. Let's just call them the PBs.
The PBs.
The PB and J's. So Dave, and this is David Wallace, the person who leaked those papers.
It sounds like a name of a monk, honestly. Like if you met David a monk Wallace. Maybe not like a Himalayan monk. That'd be a little weird.
Yes, so this is David Wallace, the person who was involved in the leak of the papers.
You look at our prime minister being criticized for the emergency powers, and optically it looks horrible. But what he can't say is that there are people inside our own intelligence apparatus who are working for these Christo-fascists and these churches. And really, we had an insurrection. And utilizing the emergency powers was at that time really the only way from losing control of the country. Our prime minister is fighting a battle inside against these people. These people aren't interested in conservatism or Canadian values. This is another criminal organization who's coming in to try to take over the country.
Yeah, so that's the leak person talking about the papers and everything and what he was trying to expose when he did release all the papers.
So okay, I have a few questions. Are the papers real?
I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna keep you guessing for now.
Okay.
But also from there, people also speculated then that somehow Russia is involved and that Russia controls Doug Ford. I've got some interesting thoughts on this already. Which tell me.
It's not. There's a psychological term. I've brought it up before. I forget the name of it. I do. I'm sorry. But it has to do with vilification and hero worship, where specifically hero worship, where if you look at a person or a group of people beyond what they are as individuals and kind of start looking them through the eyes of like hero worship, if someone then presents to you evidence, facts, cold, hard facts that the person that you revere is in fact not who they say they are, has done horrifyingly bad things, not theories that they've done horrifyingly bad things. We're talking cold, hard evidence that they've done horrifying things. these people will not change their minds about their hero. They will dig their heels in the dirt and believe in them even stronger. It's been proven over and over again. It's weird.
It's like Trump saying I could shoot somebody on the street and they'd just be more popular.
His followers would be like, they deserved it. Like it's bizarre. It's a psychological fact. And a lot of politicians.
Did you see the last season of The Boys? The last moments of the last episode?
No,
I don't want to spoil it, but
okay,
they illustrated it so perfectly with what's his name?
Are you talking season 2 or season 3?
Season 3 with Homelander.
Okay, no,
don't. I'm not going to tell you more, but it perfectly illustrates your point in that final episode of season 3.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So and I think politicians know this, so which is where like all the attack ads go in for like the swing voters, because everyone knows damn well that they're not going to convince people who are already like staunch voters of a specific party. They're just going to be there for life.
As somebody who's edited political attack ads as well.
That wasn't an attack ad, Reese.
I did edit, so that was just the nice part.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
okay,
I did edit some attack ads. It's so funny because you like they go use this music and it's like a sinister drone, and then it's like in 1983, and then it just goes, and then it goes on to list some really shit, boring stuff with like really sinister. Did you know that he voted this way on Bill C1 and this way on Bill C2? What would you do? Imagine if he was in your bedroom now.
Imagine if he was in your bedroom now. And then like some 1970s porn music started playing.
No, but it's that kind of thing, like you use all the tricks of like trying to make someone look sinister and unfavorable in an edit, but the details are very dull. If you know what I mean.
Right, yeah. But like in this instance, like it's just fascinating how politics are a swing voters game. Like, because that's it. It's every year, every election, it's all about how do we sway the swing voters? That's it. Because everyone else has made up their mind long before anyone has even like started. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. Like Justin Trudeau has lovers, not lovers. Okay, well maybe he does. I mean,
several
lovers. But he's
got a veritable harem.
I will admit that I have not been following his antics one way or another. I don't know if he's doing a good job or bad job. I'm sure I'll get some angry emails one way or another about that. I genuinely don't care. But like,
there's the whole point of Jesse, though. He doesn't care enough to pay attention. So.
200 episodes later, I still don't care and still find this shit boring. And like, I'm still holding Jesse to the fire to make this show entertaining.
You represent the vast majority of people, because the majority of people don't vote or feel emotional about politics or feel emotional about maybe the issues, but not the political
party. Most people see through the screen, man, the smoke screen. We're like,
exactly.
We see what you're doing. So, and they're like, no, and they wave their hands. No, it's real. You should vote.
That's literally your job, is to be
cynical as fuck.
To represent the vast majority of people who do not give a shit or don't trust anyone and don't go. But I love Justin. I love Polyev, and like he's the man, and don't see them for the fact that they're career politicians.
No, what I was going to say is there are people out there who blindly love Justin Trudeau no matter what he does, and same with like the Conservative Party or every fucking party. They just blindly love them. Justin Trudeau could hold a press meeting. Okay, get the press there along with a whole bunch of his fans, and then like approach the mic and then have someone roll up like a barbecue with a spit on it where he's like slowly roasting a baby, and then like just answering questions, and then takes the baby off the the roasted baby off of the spit, and then just starts with one hand just chewing on it, and people would fucking love him even more. They'd be like, oh, protein is good for you, man. He's gonna live forever eating babies like that. Like they'd find a way to love him even more.
That might be crossing a line,
but
I get your point.
Right.
I do get your point.
Right. Thank you. Okay. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because even if these Klondike Papers were proved to be fact, like, oh yeah, they exist. Yes, they proved that the Conservative Party did all of these horrifying things, absolutely horrible. It won't fucking matter. It won't the only way it'll matter is swing votes, and the only way swing votes matter is near election time, because the people who are swing voters are people who genuinely don't care that much, but kind of feel like they should be a little involved. But if you get the stuff out there like months and months and months or years before an election, they'll forget. They'll be on to the next big thing a year from now or half a year from now. Nobody's going to care. It doesn't fucking matter anymore. No one cares, and it's sad as fuck. Anyway, that's one of my little rants. Rant over.
This was supposed to be an emergency. Anyway, so
tell me more about this thing that doesn't matter. That's fascinating and terrifying, but it's not going to make like a difference.
So the idea of like the whole thing about this papers is something about the PBs being
something about the PBs.
Justin Trudeau, something. You know, it spread like wildfire. Everyone was like, you know, so many videos on TikTok with millions of views saying things like, "You need to research the Klondike Papers. You need to da 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 da." And then the papers were released, and huge credit to pressprogress.ca because their team of people took the time to read and analyze all of the documents to kind of take a look. These are journalists who are, you know, taking the time to actually follow through on all of these, ignoring social media and looking at what was actually released. So it included emails, text, bank records, hours of audio recordings, all that belonged to David Wallace, the person we had talking just now. So David Wallace's background was that he described himself as a conservative political fixer. So his full-time job was to kind of go and help politicians and help them make their problems go away, essentially.
Who is this?
David Wallace, the person who released the papers and was being interviewed, talking about the kind of saying that it was a crypto-fascist plot to a Christian
Wallace
fascist.
was the one who makes politicians' problems go away?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so John Wick. The original
John Wick, yeah.
The original, not John Wick. No, the original John Wick. Okay, where a bunch of people come into his house to kill him, and he manages to take them all out. And then he goes and he gets his gold coins, and he makes a phone call, and a van shows up, and an old guy in like a coat knocks on the door, and he's like, hands them some gold coins. He's like, "Are you back in business?" Blah blah blah. And the guy goes in with his team, and he cleans up all the bad guys and gets rid of all the blood and all the evidence for him. That's the fictional version of David Wallace,
I guess so.
Or politicians.
So oh no, Aaron O'Toole has murdered another group of hookers. We better call David Wallace. He just got carried away. You know, he's like when he has too many white wine spritzers.
Another group of hookers. Get him away from the fucking white wine spritzers, man. He just goes ballistic. Just grabs some scissors and some knitting needles and goes to town. Just, I'm here to fucking too, bitch.
Anyway. So apparently, like all of the from
I'm kind of upset that we're not like a 24-hour news station. Honestly, like
we get
Aaron O'Toole has murdered and has gone on another murder spree of.
We would get a CTRC life ban from broadcasting. So
you can't. Of hookers? Is that what's a group of hookers called? A school of hookers.
A shoal. A gaggle.
A gaggle of hookers. Yeah. Okay.
We go. So the emails were out of order, and the team from the Press Progress article like had to piece it all together. And basically, what it is, it's David Wallace's. It details 4 years of David Wallace as like a shady political operative, and they said that some of it is really interesting, some of it is very mundane, but the interesting parts of those documents shows him working in the kind of the conservative underworld, backroom deals, wealthy businessmen, private investigators, law enforcement, and foreign government officials. It's kind of like all the behind the scenes
evil
stuff.
James Bond. Just like,
yes, it's all the behind the scenes stuff in politics that they don't want you to see. He'd kind of released essentially, and then they were collected by somebody called Richard Marsh, who called them the Klondike Papers, and then released.
Why would he write this shit down?
Well, it's just emails and stuff. It's all digital.
Oh,
records.
Okay. Not like a daily journal. Like, dear diary, today I helped Aaron O'Toole bury 12 hookers. Boy, was it hard work, but someone's got to do it.
And then
someone has to stop this madman.
I took him for a beer afterwards and said, "Aaron, you really get a handle on this hooker murder." And And he said, "You don't know what kind of stress I'm under, David." Being the former leader of the Conservative Party after a failed election takes it out on you, and I need to take that out on somebody else. Maybe a group of people who I can hire.
A gaggle of hookers.
A gaggle of hookers. Just ask Polyev. You don't want to see what he does to animals.
Oh, God.
All of this is
to the zoo,
none of this is real. None of this is real. Just so don't sue us. It's fine.
Don't listen to us. just
there is a disclaimer at the bottom of every description of our episodes.
There is. I saw that now.
Playing it safe. But apparently, within those files, there is nothing that resembles any of those conspiracy theories. And in fact, the date of those files, when they stopped, the date of all the emails and the records stops before the actual the Freedom Convoy protests in Ottawa. So there's nothing in there about Trudeau and assassination attempts and kind of any of the stuff that is more recent that made them go viral on TikTok. It's just a behind-the-scenes snapshot of someone who was helping conservative politicians, which goes to show was it kind of the people who released them are complaining about all the misinformation and conspiracies people have spun out of what was essentially, just someone being a bit of a whistleblower about how the behind the scenes of politics works. So it's really interesting. So was it to make people go, when they think of the Klondike Papers, think about crazy conspiracy theories rather than actually look at them?
I mean,
is that a conspiracy?
At some point, conspiracies have to take on a little bit of truth. I feel like it's maybe 1%, but there was a comedian who, ironically on TikTok, was talking about if you don't think the government lies to you, you really have to think twice. He's like, I'm a father of one. I have one child, and you think I don't lie to that kid all the fucking time just to get him to behave and do what I need him to do? The government is taking care of hundreds of millions of people. And you don't think they lie to you, right? So I thought that was an interesting point.
Yeah. Oh, everybody. And I think the thing with this is that from what Press Progress was saying was that they couldn't verify all of the documents. Some of them they could verify as stuff they'd heard about or reported on before, and it kind of backed it up. So it was just so much stuff, and not all of it can be corroborated or approved or anything like that. So there's kind of unverified material that talks about unethical or criminal activity, but is not verified.
So here's an interesting. I mean, okay, so I said this earlier, for whatever reason people listen to us. Thank you, dear listener. I don't know why you do. Maybe it's because I'm guessing it's because of all the dick jokes. But when you listen to someone long enough, especially something intimate like a podcast or a YouTube, you tend to trust what they say. It's just a part of how this goes. It's kind of how conspiracy theorists have such a large following, is because of the platforms they're able to have now where people listen to them intimately almost daily. So regardless of what they're saying is true or not, people will start to believe them, or at least trust them, which is the foundation of belief. Earlier, I said that stuff like this doesn't matter unless it's around election time, because that's when you can convince swing voters. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I made that up on the spot. I didn't. But I said it with such conviction.
Jesse, I thought that was based on your extensive research and polling data.
Yeah, of course. What I was going to say is if people find stuff, what I was going to say is when people find papers like this, they should hold on to them until an election comes and then release them, because they'll have a better chance of swaying swing voters. But I realize I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know don't listen to me. Thanks for listening to our show, though.
But that's what they did with Emily Trudeau with the pictures of him in blackface. They sat on those until the election and released them kind of during. Do you remember that?
Ha ha! Look what we have.
Exactly. So they do that. They do.
Okay.
That is kind of in this occasion it was a whistleblower, but to your point as well, I'm talking about people who've analyzed these documents, but like you said, I haven't analyzed them myself. But I mean, that's the whole reason. That's the whole point of journalists and experts, is that they take the time to do it, and then they give you a measured opinion based on what they've seen. But it's so hard. but it's
I'm really curious.
There's so many, it's so hard to work out whether what's the agenda, and is some stuff dialed down a bit and some stuff played up.
Right.
You never know.
I'm curious about something, because these people who put this out there, if they truly believe what these papers, maybe they misinterpreted the papers, maybe they only get access to a small amount of it, but if they truly believed that this needed to get out, and these are very, very passionate people, passionate about the country, very patriotic about whatever party they believe in. But again, going back to changing someone's mind who's been a fervent voter of a specific party for years is difficult. Not impossible, but I would say close to fucking impossible. So, like I said, it's the game of changing swing voters' minds. And this is my curiosity. Do the majority of swing voters out there care this much? Or is it just like another task that they have to kind of check off? Like, I got to do laundry, got to pick up the kids from Little League practice. Oh, fuck, right, I got to go vote. Who should I vote for? And then they do like half an hour of Google research and people screaming at one another like, okay, I'll NDP, here we go. And then they have to do the next thing. Like, all this effort to change swing voters' minds every fucking election. Do the swing voters care that fucking much?
No, I mean, the thing is that you think about the topics, you just look at like trending topics on social media, and people are like, oh my God, I didn't realize that I could make bread that way in a microwave. What a cool TikTok. There's the amount of attention that we don't spend on those things, and how short term a lot of people who don't pay attention to it is giving a huge amount of power away in terms of our attention to people, to let people just get on with shit and just do what they want. And it has to be something. And it was like, if something happens, if you ask anyone who doesn't pay attention to tons of politics to talk about, indeed, what do you remember last year that happened in politics? Is only going to be a few of those really vivid images or moments that you really remember that kind of were told well as a story that kind of stick in your mind, or were repeated over and over and over again to the point where it kind of embedded itself. So politicians know this. They know that.
Oh, that's interesting. So you think it's a long... Well, I mean, politicians don't play the long game. Come on. Seriously. They're in and out real quick, right? 4 years, sometimes 8, but
the saying is like a week is a long time in like during a crisis and everything like that. But like they know they work in election cycles, so they know that in 4 years, if you do something really shitty in the first year, but you're hoping that people will probably forget most of it by the last year, and by the time that people bring it up into your face in a debate, you can then pivot and talk about all the stuff that they did shitty around that topic, and that people just kind of ignore it and move on. And they think in election cycles because that's how they survive. So
right.
It is that
but
thing.
Again,
of
that's and just saying it like that is pinpointing, again, not to get into a different rant, but like surviving the election cycle is, it sounds like a game to them, which it probably is. It shouldn't be a game. You're running a fucking country. You're ruining lives and helping people, but if it's a game to see who can stay in the seat the longest, we're just anyway, that's...
Well, think about movies that you love. Think about a movie that you might love, and then think about when you watch it back after 2 years. You, in your head, you really vividly remember a few lines, you remember a few scenes, you remember your favorite characters. But there's a ton of stuff you forget that go around that, the details and the plot lines, and you kind of like enjoy rewatching it because you remind yourself some of the stuff. Unless you've watched it so many times, the whole thing. But you know what I mean? You attach yourself to certain things and certain details in a story that appeal to you or emotionally move you. And then the rest is just kind of details that you don't necessarily need to retain. So you might go, I really love Guardians of the Galaxy, and Groot is my favorite. And then you watch and go, there's other characters too. And I didn't, you know what I mean?
There's other characters.
There's other characters.
I feel like we've gone off down a rabbit hole. We should wrap up like this story of like what was the end result of these or did you have one, or is it just kind of faded into existence?
That's kind of it. They're out, and like people have read them, and like some of it is some of the stuff that has been released
because
is
it's like 3 months old. Nobody's gonna go.
Yeah,
it's kind of care anymore. There's a new, there's new stuff for people to rage about.
But that's the thing. The story didn't become like, some of the sources could be verified, some couldn't. There was a huge amount of data that was dropped, but the story has become not the fact that there was all this 4 years of data, 6,400 documents released from behind the scenes of the Conservative Party. That was kind of the news story was, this became a conspiracy on TikTok. Not what is in there. And I kind of, the piece, Press Progress was the only place I could find that really delved into and tried to analyze what was in there. So either some journalists are quietly bad beavering away trying to go to the massive data and investigate and follow up, or it's just kind of been forgotten and everyone's moved on, gone, remember the Klondike Papers are crazy TikTok conspiracies, whereas there's actual someone who worked in the Conservative Party behind the scenes released some data, and some of it is verified, some isn't, some of it is dodgy, some of it might be, some of it may not be, and like it's just, I just find it so confusing, and that to me that's like sums up a lot of the stuff of why this podcast exists, because there's like weird and crazy stuff happening in Canada, but nobody seems to want to pay that much attention, or the people who are paying attention to it,
which might be a good thing in regard.
But the people who are paying attention to it don't tend to get listened to very often. It's like,
I suppose there's a fine line of like, how much attention should we pay attention to the details, like, because if you just keep going in the opposite direction, you end up with fucking Fox News,
but I kind of feel like at least CBC or somebody should have done the same thing as this smaller outlet. They should have.
That's funny.
Like, where I feel like that's your job, like to.
That's very funny. So here we are. You're welcome. We're better than CBC.
I didn't say that, but
okay. So is that it?
The only reason we're better than CBC is that you don't have to pay for us with your taxes. You pay for it by listening to ads. So
yeah. So hold on. Can I recap our episode? So there were papers that were supposedly released, talked about on TikTok, talking about how the Conservative Party of Canada has done terrible things. No one could confirm this. Finally, a website did confirm that it was kind of sort of true, but not really true, of which you really didn't bring up any points that they did or didn't do. We talked about how people don't care, how this sort of stuff doesn't get covered, and that's it. Is that a recap of this episode? Papers existed. Nothing really came out of it. Nobody listened. Nobody cares.
What do you want, like a big explosion at the end?
I feel like if this is a ping pong game between you and I would have just won this game. See, boring, whatever. Nobody's like, it's just.
Yeah, but like I said, it's like a bunch of stuff in there that is like some of the things in those papers is being investigated by the police.
One thing.
They didn't bring it up because it's under investigation by the police.
Okay, so it's all under investigation by the police, which means
ultimately it's hard to separate misinformation from real information in those documents, and some of it has been reported by really credible news people, and some things are really like worth focusing on, and other things are just speculation.
Our emergency broadcast is talking about papers that were released 3 months ago that we can't talk about because it's under investigation by the police.
Well, not all of it, just some of it.
Fucking fascinating. My mind is blown.
My point is that this
dear
is
listener, why you keep coming back to us, I'll never fucking know. But thank you.
So go on TikTok, post about the crazy conspiracies about these Klondike Papers. Proves that Justin Trudeau is half alien, and
likes to eat babies.
And likes to eat babies, and also that Joe Biden is his real dad, or something. So that's it. Klondike Papers, do it. Hashtag do it.
hashtag do it is a reference to the Klondike Papers as to what that means to do.
What does anything mean anymore, Jesse?
I don't know, Reese. You've gotten so deep inside my fucking brain. I don't understand the world anymore. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so very, very tired.
So
anyway.
we're gonna do a little call to action that is a little incentivized this time. We'd because we've grown, we've a little bit of the last little while. We've attracted some wonderful trolls. We've made some T-shirts out of their comments, which is really fun. But the algorithm favors high reviews, and so if you guys could please leave us, if wherever you're on Spotify, just leave us a 5-star review. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. And if you want to type out something, screenshot that, email it to us, and Reese and I will send you a personalized, funny little video. It can be for your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your teachers. It could be just for you. We'll do it. We'll do a little dance. We'll sing. We'll do whatever you want. So there you go. That's your call to action.
Not whatever you want. Just
maybe, well, I mean, depends on how good the review is, but like. And we'll read it on the air if it's really funny. So on the air.
Yeah,
yep. This is the airwaves radio. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you, dear listener, for doing that. We appreciate it. It helps us out a lot. It really helps the show grow. So
so cool. Yeah, everyone have, I don't know, everyone have a great day. Everyone.
You sound tired. You sound exhausted all of a sudden.
I am.
Is it dealing with me? It's dealing with me, isn't it? I get it.
And just 6,400 documents, reading them all was so tiring.
So yeah, and then coming to the show and not telling me a single fucking thing out of all the documents. That's, oh God, your brain must be bursting with like, just, I wish I could tell them, but it's under investigation, and I could get in so much trouble.
I also couldn't find the documents. They should put them online so everyone else can read them.
Right.
Okay, anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's move on. Have a good day, everyone.
What's happening next week? What's the next episode?
This is just a bonus one. We did that.
It's
before.
A bonus one. It's in between episodes. We already said what's coming next episode.
Exactly.
You know, dear listener, what's
let
going
it happen. So we should go now. I'm gonna go.
All right, cool. Thanks so much for listening, sticking us in your ear holes, and thanks for doing the call to action. Thanks for leaving the review. That helps a lot. We'll talk to you soon.
Don't spread or consume misinformation on TikTok. Bye.
Okay, bye.